Hello crafters, Michelle here. I have a great mix of coastal, nautical, and beach themed wreaths for you today. In today's crafting adventure, we're going to dive into the sea and have some fun by the beach. Let's go ahead and get started. Now the last time I went into Dollar Tree, I found the Shore Living line, and they have this beautiful new wreath form. It is a mermaid wreath. It's their tail, and I absolutely love it. It's a gorgeous wreath form. For my new method, the rose method, you can use Dollar Tree mesh. I have a roll of their dark navy blue, the light blue, this kind of gray or silver, their dark purple, and light purple. Now these are all colors you would find in a mermaid. You want to cut your strips for the tail at 10 inches. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners, and these can be cut in thirds about 4 inches in length because we're only going to be attaching to a single bar at a time. So I have my mesh here cut at 10 inches. You want to take the two cut ends and line them up. So you are folding it over in half. Then you want to take one end and grab those ends, make sure they line up, and then fold it over by about 1/2 inch. And then continue to fold it over all the way across. Okay. And you want to grab it about an inch, inch and a half from the bottom. Take your pipe cleaner and wrap it around. Now you want the ends that come up to be where the seam is. That's going to be your bottom. I always like to fold it down so I can get a nice tight grip and twist. Okay. Now here on the ends, you can trim off anything that's funky like that, but you want to make sure you leave at least an inch because you do not want that to pull through. And then here on the other side, you have that really pretty little curl that looks like the center of a rose. Okay, so that's our little bundle. Now these bundles are stacking bundles. So you'll lay a row down and then you stack on top, and that's what's going to hide this part. I will show you again. Take a piece of 10-inch mesh, take the two ends, bring them together. So you're folding your piece of mesh in half. Come to one side, bring that together, fold in by about 1/2 inch, and then just keep folding until you get to the other side. You want to grab in by about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. Wrap your pipe cleaners around. Now your ends should be on the side that has the fold. The smooth side should be on the bottom. This is the smooth side, and this is the side that has the seam. So the side that has the seam is where you want your pipe cleaners. There you go. Now you can make these looser if you want them fuller. I actually did that first, and then I decided no, I like them actually on the tighter side like this, but that's up to you depending on how big and wide you want that to look. Okay, I'm going to make several of my rose bundles here, and then I'll be back and we'll start to attach it to the wreath form. I have several of my bundles made. We're going to start to attach it to our wreath form. The first thing I want to do is run a nice thick line of bundles all the way across the bottom bar here. And that's why you don't need more than like 1/3 of a pipe cleaner, because you're only going to be attaching it to a single bar. So you want to attach it like this. So your cut end is going to be facing up and is on top of the wreath. You just take your pipe cleaners, wrap it around the bar, give a good couple twists. And then trim your pipe cleaner and then just tuck it down. Okay, so you want to keep adding them as you move across the bottom there. And I'm just going to be mixing up all of my colors. So I'm figuring one on the end, two in the middle, and then one where the two bars meet, and then two in the middle and one on the bar. And then because this space is larger, however many will fit in that space. So I'm going to continue until I get the bottom bar here filled, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have my bottom bar here filled and I really like it. Look at how pretty that looks. Perfect for the tail of a mermaid. I'm very happy. The only additional thing that I needed to do was I added a bit of hot glue on this end and a bit of hot glue on this end so that my pieces wouldn't keep sliding up. But I'm really happy with that. They kind of just stacked on each other to flare out the tail, which is exactly what I was looking for. And I did kind of go in a pattern. I did dark blue, dark purple, light purple, gray, and then I repeated. So I'm just going to keep following that. So my last one here was the light blue. So now I'm going to start my second row. And I'm again just going to be attaching it to the single bar. And I just need to bring that bundle down far enough to cover the cut end of the one underneath it. I am working on my second row now, and on the second row you'll need to attach one to the single bar, and then attach one to the two bars, and then attach one to the single bar. So here on the back, the first one I attached just to this bar, and then here the second one I attached in between. The third one I attached only to the single bar, and then the fourth one I attached to the two bars. I needed to do that to make sure that I got good coverage because I don't want to see my cut ends. I want to make sure that this is all coming down far enough to cover that and give me a nice fluffy tail. I'm going to continue to do the bottom here until I get up to the base of the body, and then I'll come back and then we're going to change gears and do a different type of method for the top section. I have all my rose bundles in and I think they look so pretty. It gave me the exact look I was going for. And look at that. No fraying whatsoever. Absolutely beautiful with Dollar Tree Deco Mesh. Now it took me a good I'd say 4 to 5 rows. So as you can see, I came right up to the base here. Now I'm going to do something a little different so that I have a nice smooth transition between the tail and the body of our mermaid. So I have still my first roll of the dark blue. I'm still working on my first roll. I added a pipe cleaner here. I'm going to wrap this around the base to cover up the tops of these and then to give me that smooth transition. Plus I want this to come in nice and tight so it really accentuates how big and beautiful the tail is. So I'm going to take this and start here on the back and just attach it to one of the bars back here to get it secure. And I'm just going to pull this together so that when I wrap it, it's layered. It'll make it darker and easier for me to hide what I'm trying to hide. So it looks like I need one more bundle here to hide that. So let me put one more there. Okay, so I have the base here wrapped that hid all my ends, so I'm really happy with that. And that finished off that roll of dark blue mesh. So I've just attached another one, and now I'm going to use that to wrap the top half of my wreath. And again, I'm just going to pull it together so it's thick so you can't see through it. And just work my way around and wrap it all the way to the top. I have the top of my mermaid form wrapped. Now it did take me 2 packages of the dark blue mesh to get a nice covering over the top. And then here in the corner I just added half a pipe cleaner and a loop. This is what I'm going to use to hang it. Now to finish decorating my little mermaid tail here, I took some of my rose petals here and I wrapped them together, so I kind of made like a little bouquet. And then I also have a few more that are individual. So I want to take this, and here in the center you can kind of open it up. And I'm going to place my little bundle here inside over to the side. I like that. And then I'm also going to feed in some of the individual ones that I have so that I can kind of direct them, whether I put it in the back to make it a little higher or maybe on the sides. But that's what I'm going to use there. And then there's one more item I want to add, and it's this really pretty starfish. Now they had a couple different colors you could choose from. They had this really pretty kind of light blue or teal color. They have the navy blue, white, or red. And I'm going to attach this right here in the same spot that I attached the hanger, like that. And then these guys will kind of cover up the hanger so you won't see it from the front. But I think that'll be a really nice addition, and will kind of hang to the side. The reason why I wanted to put the hanger just on the side is because I don't want my wreath to just hang up and down like this. I want it to kind of hang at an angle. I think that is a little bit more attractive for the shape of my mermaid tail. So let's get this guy attached first, and then I'll go ahead and fill this in. Now I don't want it to hang down too far, so I'm going to cut the rope here and use this to tie it on. And I'm going to tie it on to that bar. Make sure I do a nice double knot there. Got the length that I want, and then I'm going to hide that whole knot down on the inside. Okay. And then I'll probably hot glue that down in the position that I want it to once I get the other stuff in and I have it hanging. And now I'm just going to add this part to the top. I'm going to hot glue it in and add in my other pieces. So let's get this placed. Make sure everything's nice and tucked. And there you go, we are all done. I absolutely love the final result of my Dollar Tree mermaid wreath. Absolutely adorable. I love that. I think that and the little starfish here were the perfect final addition to my mermaid tail wreath. For our next project, you're going to need one of the foam wreath forms that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. And you're also going to need a couple packages of the nautical rope. The one that I'm using is 11.1 feet. Now when you open up the package of rope, the ends are taped. And that's okay, you want to leave it taped until you get to that point where you're going to be gluing that section down, because that helps keep the rope from unraveling. I want to cover the base here with my rope. So I'm going to start by gluing the end on the back here. Now I always like to glue the first two ropes together when I start on a new piece. I want to make sure that that's nice and secure. I don't need it to come loose because then the rest will unravel. Then I'm just simply going to work on getting a nice tight wrap on my green foam wreath. I have my base completely covered. It did take exactly 3 packages of the 11.1 foot white nautical rope that you can get at Dollar Tree. I do have this one piece left and I'm going to be adding it right here. Now I ran into a little issue because the outer ring is larger than the inner ring. So at the end of each rope that I had, I made sure to cut a piece that was large enough to fit in like that. And then I just kind of pushed everything over and made a space and glued it in. Now on this one, the last piece, I have this much left of the rope. And I added a little bit of hot glue here at the end and just kind of twisted it so it won't come apart on me. And I'm going to show you how to glue that in there, but instead of just gluing it all the way across, which I did earlier, I'm going to use this as the handle. But you glue it in the same way. So I'm going to start right here in the point. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, twist down my rope, and then I'm going to lay it right in there. And I'm going to use my little spatula here to help me tuck and to fit it into that little space and try to get all of those little ends down. Just going to push and tuck. And I start on the nice side. It seems easier to get the first piece in nice and clean, and then I don't have to worry too much about the other piece because that will be in the back, and then that will fill in the top. So I would normally glue it like that as I'm working around, but this time I'm going to glue it into the center here, and then I'm going to add this side the same way and glue up, and then that's what I'm going to use to hang. So I only want to glue this side until I'm at the center. See, so that filled it in from the front very nicely and it looks nice and clean. So when I cut the tape off here, I'm going to cut at an angle again. It'll make it easier to get it to squeeze in. And then I just add a little bit of hot glue kind of in the middle, like a little dab. Give it a second to cool. And then I just pull and kind of twist the ends together. That way it won't come unraveled on me before I get it glued down. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this and get this glued down. I think that looks very pretty. This is the front. It looks nice and clean. And I have my hanger. I have this really beautiful dark navy ribbon. This is really good ribbon. I believe I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. Craftoutlet.com also carries really good ribbon, and this is 1.5 inches at 10 yards, and they do have an item number. I will insert that here. You will need to cut 4 pieces at about 8.5 inches. That is what works for me. Each piece needs to be able to completely wrap around your wreath and then come over the ribbon by at least 1 inch. For me, that was about 8.5 inches. So I have my 4 pieces cut. Now, to help me get a visual placement, I'm going to use some rulers. So I'm going to work on this section. So I'm going to lay my ruler so that the inner edge here is right down the center. And then my second ruler, the top edge, is going to be down the center. And then I want to put 1 piece of ribbon in each quarter. This is just helping me get a better visualization. Once I have my placement, I'm going to pull it to the back and get it glued down. When I glue the top piece over, I'm just going to take that end and fold it down by about 1/2 inch. I want to make sure that edge stays nice and clean and I don't get any fraying. Perfect. Now to trim this out, I'm going to use this really pretty rope that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. This is 1/2 inch by 15 feet. It is the Robert Stanley collection. I just recently picked this up the last time their ribbon went on sale. And I did find it over in the ribbon section. And we're going to trim this right in the center of each piece. Absolutely adorable. Now you're going to want to do this in each of the 4 quadrants on your wreath. I have all of my trim pieces on and I'm really happy with them. I love the 2 of the ribbon and the rope together. I think that's so pretty. Very much a nautical feel. Now the last thing I want to add is one of these little anchors. Now I'm going to remove the rope here. And I want to glue my anchor right in the center. It just barely fits. So I'm going to get the tip glued on, and then I'm going to get the top here glued on, and I want to make sure that we're in line with the hanger right down the center. So that looks good. I have a good amount of glue right there at the tip and at the top there. I just want to let this fully set up. And here you go, we're all done. I'm very happy with the end result. It definitely gives me that nautical and by the sea vibe. I think it's going to be a perfect new addition to my bathroom decor. For this project, you're going to need a rail, and I made this one using a 5-gallon stir stick. Now, if you have not seen me make one of these in the past, I will put a link in the description box to a short video that'll show you how to do this. You're also going to need some deco mesh that I picked up from Dollar Tree. Now, this is one of the new colors that they came out this year in their Shore Living line. They're just starting to get this out and into stores. You'll need 2 rolls of that and a roll of white and something to measure with. Now, when I work with more than 1 roll of deco mesh at a time, I like to separate them out so that they don't get tangled. So I'll put 1 out on either side of my body, and then either 1 here on the table or 1 right down in front of me. So I'm going to put them off the table so it's easier for me to work with. And then you want to take the ends of each of the rolls and scrunch them together. Now, you don't want to layer your mesh. It'll make it much more difficult for you to separate out your loops. So you want to just kind of scrunch them together and get them side by side. Just like that. And then you're going to pinch it. Just come in about 1 inch where you can get it. And then you want to measure. And you want to measure at about 12 inches. Pinch again, and then you're going to bring the 2 pinches together so that you have a loop here at the top. Now, the top of your rail is where your hanger is. So you're going to start in this first loop, and the cut ends are going to go down. So take your loop, place it in between your pipe cleaners, pull it nice and tight, and give it a twist or 2. Okay, then you can kind of just open up your loops. Fan them out. You can see all of the color. Just like that. And then you're going to grab your mesh and you're going to measure again. Pull all 3 together. Measure again at 12 inches and pinch. Then you're going to go to the next pipe cleaner where the pipe cleaners are facing up. So right across the top here. You're going to drop that down in between the pipe cleaners and give it a twist. Now, as you work your way down, because you are dealing with 2 different colors, just as you open up your loops, just move the white so that it's not in the same place each time you drop down. So this first one, it's in the middle. So now I'm going to move it to one side and then have the 2 green. Otherwise, it'll look like you have a stripe of white and that's not the look you want. Okay, so I'm going to work down, measuring at 12 inches, and I'm going to go right down the center with the pipe cleaners that I have facing up. I've gone all the way down the center, and now I'm going to come up this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just keep measuring your poofs at 12 inches, and then pull it to whatever side that you're going to go up. And once you get to the top, you'll come around and come down the opposite side. Okay, so I'm up here at the top. Now as I move over to the other side, I'm going to do a pit stop again here in the center. So I measured my 12 inches, come into the center here, give another twist or two, measure again, and then go to the opposite side. Okay, so just go all the way to the end and then place it in the center here at the bottom. And you want to pull those ends so that they're facing inward so that you can hide them in the wreath. So just go in and open up and separate all of your poofs and fluff out your swag. So I have those 3 rolls on. I have everything open, and I like the width and everything, but because this color is so light, I can still really see through it. So I'm going to go over it one more time with 3 more rolls. So I have my base all done, and it took 6 rolls, 3 rolls each time I went around. I'm really happy now. I have a nice thick base and you can't see through it. Go ahead and set this aside. Now this is the sign that we're going to be using. I picked this up from Dollar Tree. This is one of the new signs in their Shore Living. I thought it was absolutely adorable. Now to prep it to go on the swag, you want to remove the jute cord, and then I ran floral wire through the hole, wrapped it around over the top and twisted, and then down here I glued on 2 pipe cleaners. So I have 3 areas here that I'll be attaching it to the swag. I really do like to use a combination of pipe cleaners and floral wire, because if this goes outside and things get too hot, the hot glue can fail, and this way it won't fall off because it'll also be attached with the floral wire. And I just used the floral wire that you can get from Dollar Tree. They have several different colors to choose from. I prefer the silver. Now I want to place my sign a little down from the top because I want to put a bow right up here at the top, but I don't want it to go past the bottom. I still want to see some mesh down here at the bottom. So that looks about right. And to attach it, you're just going to move the mesh aside and feed the pipe cleaners and the wire down through the mesh to the back. And then you just wrap it around and attach it here to the piece of wood. Okay. See how nice and clean the back looks when using the paint stick? So I have my sign attached. I'm really happy with that. Then here on the back where the wire was, once I cut it and folded it down, I did put a little hot glue over that because I don't want anything on the back that could possibly scratch. I think that looks great. Go ahead and set this aside. We're going to work on the bow now. I found this really beautiful ribbon at Dollar Tree. It's very textured, very lacy. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's perfect to go by the sea. They had several different colors. They had this off-white, they have white, they had a dark brown, and a green. And I'm going to use this one that looks very natural. I think it will go well with the sign and the rest of the colors. We're going to be using the Easy Bow Maker. I really do like this. This makes it very easy for me to do a bow. I have a lot of arthritis in my hands from doing hair for as long as I have. And so this helps me hold everything. So measure out your tail at 8 inches and then place it down between the two large dowel rods. And then I'm going to measure my loops at 4 inches. So measure 4 inches and then pull it back through. Now you'll want to make 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. Okay, now that you have your 2 loops on either side at 4 inches, we're going to add 1 more loop to each side at 3 inches. If you need to do any adjusting, now is the time to do it. Then you want to take your pipe cleaner and just kind of lift up the side and slide it in. Pull it up and around so it's tight. And then lift up your bow. Wrap that around and pull it to the back. You want to get that nice and tight. And that is what your bow should look like. Now I want to place my bow right up here at the very top. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the pipe cleaners, feed it through, and attach it to the piece of wood in the back. Okay, so I have my bow on. Now I do like it, but it's just not enough. So I went ahead and made a twine bow, and I'm going to glue this right on top in the center. I really like that. I like the textural differences, and I like that it's a little bit darker. Just add a nice amount of hot glue and place that right in the center. And here on the ends of this ribbon, I did just cut them at an angle. I really like that. Very pretty. I think that looks much better. Now the final items that I'm going to be adding to the wreath to finish it off. I found these really pretty, what do we call it, sand dollars that you can get at Dollar Tree. You get 3 in a pack. This is part of their new Shore Living decor. And these are a little on the heavy side. They also have some little starfish, and you also get 3 in a package. So I'm going to be adding those. And then I also have this bag of shells, and I believe I picked the shells up at Dollar General. But Dollar Tree also carries shells, so you can use either the Dollar Tree ones or whatever ones that you have at home. So I'm just going to pull some of these out. I really like them because they have a lot of different types of shells in there. And I'm going to be attaching everything to the wreath. Now how I'm going to be attaching them, especially these because they're heavy, is I'm going to be using a combination of Aleene's tacky glue and hot glue. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because hot glue tends to be temperature sensitive. And if this wreath goes outside or maybe even goes into a bathroom where it can get moist from people taking showers or it being outside and it getting too cold or raining, hot glue can fail. Aleene's tacky glue is supposed to be weather resistant. So once it fully dries and sets up, whether it gets really hot or gets really cold, it's not going to fail and your item is not going to fall off your wreath. So that's why I'm going to use a combination of this and hot glue to attach my items. So I opened everything up. I found this really pretty shell, and I want to place that right in the center of my bow. For that, I'm just going to use the hot glue. You just need to hold it in place till it sets up. These sand dollars are rather large and they are kind of heavy. So I'm probably only going to use 1 or 2 of these. And you definitely want to use the Aleene's tacky glue with this. And hot glue. The hot glue will give you that immediate hold, and then once the Aleene sets up, it'll be good and it should be weather resistant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my embellishments, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. And here you go. We are all done. I'm really pleased with the final product. I absolutely love my bow. This new ribbon from Dollar Tree is awesome. I think it's perfectly suited for coastal decor. I love the sea foam color. I think it brings out that color in the sign. Now, I did use all 3 of my starfish, but I only used 2 of my sand dollars. And then I did use several small shells. To get started today, you're going to need one of these packages of the nautical icons of the little anchors. You can pick this up at Dollar Tree in their new Shore Living line. And you get 6 pieces in a pack, and they are 2.9 inches by 3.7 inches. Now I'm going to paint these a nice pretty bright red, and the one that I'm using is by Folk Art, and it is called Lipstick Red, but you can use any bright blue based red that you have. Now I'm only going to use about 3 or 4 of the anchors. I'm going to go and paint 4. I'm thinking that's probably what I'm going to use. You can set the other 2 aside and use them on another project. And then you just want to get a good coat of the red paint on your anchor. Just make sure to get those little edges so you have a nice clean image. Go ahead and get all 4 of your little anchors painted. While our anchors are drying, we can move ahead and get to work on our base here. You're going to need a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. And then I'm going to be using this decorative mesh that I found at Dollar Tree. This came out in their Shore Living. I think it's very, very pretty. And this is still 6 inches at 5 yards, so it's the same as their regular standard mesh. But I really like all the different colors. And we're going to be doing 2 rolls at a time, doing the poof method today. I think that'll show off this mesh the best. You're also going to need something to measure with, either a ruler or a cutting mat. Now when I work with more than 1 roll of deco mesh at a time, I always like to put one out on either side of my body. That way they do not tangle as I work with them. You want to take the ends of both of the rolls, you want to scrunch them together. You don't want to layer them because when you go back to open up your poofs, it'll make it more difficult for you to do that. So you want to scrunch them and have them side by side. And then take a pipe cleaner and you want to securely attach that to the end. I always pull it to the back, get it nice and tight, pinch at the base, and give it a couple twists. Now we're going to be attaching our poofs to the 2 bars here in the center. And we're going to start here on one of the crossbars. So from the top, you just put it over the crossbar there and pull it to the back. Give it a good twist or two. And then you want to take those ends of the mesh, push them to the back. And then I like to pull them back through my pipe cleaners and give it one more twist. That'll just make them a little bit more secure and make sure that those raggedy ends stay to the back. And then I just push my pipe cleaner forward. Now you can trim some of the ends here off, but you want to leave about 1 inch so it does not pull back through. Sometimes Dollar Tree mesh does spray from the sides, so if you see anything like that, just snip off anything that's loose. Okay, we have our mesh now nicely secure. So you want to grab both of your rolls of mesh and you want to measure, you want to start to measure where you have it attached here on the wreath form. And you're going to measure at 8 inches. We're going to do 8-inch poofs. So pinch at 8 inches. Grab your pipe cleaner and wrap it around. Give it a couple twists. And then go ahead and attach it onto the 2 bars there in the center. Pull it to the back and give a good twist or two. And then I always pull my pipe cleaners together and then push them forward. And then push your little poof over. Measure again at 8 inches. Pinch. Add your pipe cleaner. Again, attach it to the 2 bars in the middle. And then you push it over. Now what I like to do is I like to do a section first, and a section is between the 2 crossbars, and then I'll go back and open up my poofs. Now the reason why I'm doing smaller poofs, I'm doing 8 inches, is because one, this is rather sheer and it has lots of colors, so I want it to be a little bit more dense. So as you're adding these, what you'll want to do is you'll want to add 1 to your crossbar and then 9 in the middle. And then on the next one, you'll add 1 to the crossbar and then 1 in the middle. And you'll do that all the way around. And it will take you a total of 6 rolls of deco mesh. You'll work with 2 rolls at a time, and those first 2 rolls should cover your first 2 sections. Okay, so just keep measuring out your poofs and keep adding them and work your way around. I'll go ahead and do my first 2 sections here with my first 2 rolls. I'll open everything up and then come back and show you what it's looking like. I have 2 rolls of my deco mesh attached, and I've gone in and opened them up. Now I didn't completely fluff them because I kind of like the look of it a little bit twisted, but I did pull the 2 apart because remember we did 2 rolls together. So I just kind of went through, and like this one, see I didn't open it up all the way because I kind of like it folded over, and it looks nice and full. And here on the back, you can see by pushing your pipe cleaner ends forward, it gives your back a nice clean look. And I was able to add one more poof to each section. So I put 1 on the crossbar and then 10 in the center, 1 on the crossbar and 10 in the center, and then 1 more on the crossbar. Okay, so if that happens to you, just go back and move 1 from this side over to the other side so that they're pretty even. If you just have 1 extra poof, that's okay, no biggie. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes Dollar Tree mesh is a little short, sometimes it's a little long. So when you get to the end, just work with whatever you have. I have my base all done and I have fluffed out my wreath. I am very happy. And it took exactly the 6 rolls of deco mesh to complete my wreath. Here on the back, you can see by tucking your pipe cleaners, everything looks nice and clean. So my little anchors are dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more detail. You'll need one of these Crafter's Square metallic markers in white. I have seen them in pretty much all of my stores recently. They have restocked these. These are my favorite out of all of the type of paint pens, chalk markers that they sell. And the reason is because it has a nice fine tip. So the first thing I want to do here on my anchor is I'm just going to add a little bit of stitching all the way around the edge with my little white metallic marker here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to look a little bit more custom rather than just putting paint. So just follow the shape of the anchor and make small little marks. That looks so much better, adds just so much more character to it. Now, right here on my piece of paper, I've laid out just a small amount of the Waverly Antique Wax. I want to add a little bit of age to these. Now I have a stiff brush. This will help me because I don't want a lot of paint. I just want a small amount. So just dip it in and then tap off anything extra. And then I just kind of tap my way all the way around the edge first, so that I get a little bit of it in the areas I want. Now I'm not doing it solid, I'm just getting a little bit of that color on so that it shows a little bit of age. And then once you've gone all the way around, I just take my brush. I don't add any more of the Waverly Antique Wax, and I just kind of quickly brush through with whatever's left on my brush, just to move it around and give it that aged look. There you go. So you want to do this to all 4 of your anchors. We're going to be using this sign today. I fell in love the minute I saw it. This is part of the new collection, Shore Living at Dollar Tree. Now they have 2 different colors to choose from. They have this one that has the dark navy blue sail. They also have one that has a white sail and a different saying. So either of these will work. I really liked the one with the dark blue sail. I think it'll look the best on the background that I've chosen. Now to prep the sign, you want to remove the jute cord that was here at the top, and then you want to run some floral wire through that. And I just put it through the hole and then over the top and twist it to the back so I can attach it. Here at the bottom, I've attached a pipe cleaner on either side, and I've just hot glued that down. Now the reason why I like to use a combination of floral wire and pipe cleaners is if this goes outside or it goes somewhere where it's going to be hot or moist and cold, the hot glue can fail. If that tends to happen, my sign's not going to fall off because I also have it secured here with floral wire. So get your sign prepped and then we'll start assembling. So we're going to attach our sign now. I always like my signs to sit right up on top, and I do usually prefer them right in the middle, and that is where I'm going to place this one. I think that looks really good. Now to place this, all you do is you take your pipe cleaners and your floral wire. You separate the mesh until you get down to the wire frame in the back, and then you attach it to the wire frame in the back. Now when you initially attach it, you don't want to attach it too tight until you know you've got it right in the position that you want, and then you can tighten it down. And you want to be careful because if you tighten one part too much, like the top, it'll sink down like this, or if you do one side, it won't lay flat. So just be aware that you want it to sit right on top and not pull down into the mesh. I got my sign on. I'm really happy with that. It's nice and secure and sitting exactly where I want it. Now there's one more thing I want to do here to my little anchors, and that's add a little piece of jute cord. So right here on the back at the top, I'm going to add a small dollop of hot glue. And then from the front, I'm going to feed in a piece of jute cord and have it attached right there where I put the hot glue. That way it comes out through the front. And I'm going to wrap that around just a couple times. Like that. And then pull it across into the back. And then just add another little dollop of hot glue and lay the other end in. I think that makes it perfect. We're going to work on a bow now. You're going to need one full-length pipe cleaner. Now this ribbon I picked up from Dollar Tree. This is one of the new ribbons that they're carrying. It is Yama Mega Roll. And let's see. This is 1.5 inches by 18 feet. And it is 100% polyester. I like that really nice dark blue. And then from Walmart, I picked this up. This is the Offray brand. And let's see, I believe this one is 7/8 of an inch at 9 feet. I picked this one up at Walmart and it was $3.97. And then this one is also the Offray brand. I picked this one up at Walmart as well. It is 1.5 inches at 9 feet and it was $3.97. We're going to start with our largest ribbon here, which is this pretty dark blue. I'm going to measure my tails at 8 inches. Pinch and then place it right in between the two dowel rods. Now I really like to use the Easy Bow Maker. This is my favorite bow maker. It makes it very easy for me to work with the ribbon, and because I have arthritis in my hands, so sometimes it's hard for me to hold everything. So this makes it nice because it holds it for me. Now this ribbon has, one side is a little bit nicer than the other, so once you come through, you want to go ahead and twist that. You want the nice side of your ribbon facing down. Okay, and I'm going to measure this loop at 5 inches, and I'm going to do 3 loops on either side at 5 inches. So remember, once you come through, go ahead and twist so that nice side is facing down, and then measure at 5 inches. Once I have my 3 loops on each side, I can measure out my other tail at 8 inches. Now you can adjust your bow while you're working with it here in the bow maker. So I'm happy with my blue ribbon. I'm going to go to my pretty check ribbon now. And again, I'm going to measure my tails at 8 inches. But this time on my loops, I'm only going to make my loops at 4 inches, and I'm going to do 2 on either side. If you enjoy hauls, crafts, and learning new craft techniques, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do upload new content every week, and if you hit the notification bell when it pops up, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. Once you have your loops done, go ahead and measure out your other tail at 8 inches. And now we're going to move to this really pretty ribbon. I think this really ties the bow together. Again, I'm going to measure my tail at 8 inches. And because this ribbon is only nice on one side, once you come through, you're going to need to twist it so that the nice side is facing down. And then on this one, I'm going to measure my loops at 3 inches. And I'm going to do 2 on either side. If this is the first time that you've come to my channel, welcome! I'm so happy that you were able to find me. If you are one of my subscribers and returning to my channel, thank you for all your love and support. It really means the world to me. And then once you have those 2 loops, cut your other tail. So go ahead and check your loops, do any adjusting that you may need to do now. Then you want to take your full length pipe cleaner. I always slide it down underneath on one side. And bring that up in the middle. Lift up. That way it helps you hold your bow. And then on a thick bow like this, I like to wrap my pipe cleaner around that center and pull it to the back. Just makes it easier for you to get it nice and snug. Hold tight and give a couple twists. That looks cute. Okay, now I want to hide my pipe cleaner here, so I'm going to cut a little piece of my ribbon to go over the center. Just a couple inches is fine. Now on the back here, before you glue it on, you want to open your pipe cleaners, one to either side. Okay, then you need to decide how thick you want it. You don't want it quite as thick as the ribbon, so I'm going to fold it in on either side just a little bit. And then that I'm going to place right around the center. And I'm going to do it where one of those anchors sits right there in the center of the bow. I think that'll look really cute. Pull it around and hot glue it in the back. And that is what your bow should look like. I covered the center there with the red ribbon. I think that looks really cute. Now I usually cut my tails once I get this on my wreath. That way I can tell how long or short I want my ribbons. Now here on the back, the pipe cleaners are not going to be long enough for me to be able to attach it to my wreath. So I'm going to take another pipe cleaner and lay it right here in the center, and take these short pipe cleaners and wrap them around. And then I'm going to take one and wrap it around one of the long ones. Like that. And then I'm going to take the other short one and wrap it around the other long. Now another trick that I like to use to make sure that my bow does not sink down into my wreath is I'll grab both of those and I'll twist them together up for about 3 inches. Okay, so these are all twisted together. That will be the depth inside the wreath, so that my bow is guaranteed to stay sitting up on top of the wreath and not sink down inside. Then you just need to decide where you want to put your bow. I think I'm going to put it on this side so that you can read the wording. And again, you just take your pipe cleaners, you separate your mesh, and you attach it to the wreath frame in the back. I have my bow on and I'm very happy with that. So now we're going to place our final elements, which are our little anchors here. Now these are light enough that you can hot glue them on. I am going to be doing a combination of the Aleene's Tacky Original Glue and hot glue to attach these. Aleene's Original Tacky Glue is supposed to be weather resistant, so once it dries and it fully sets up, you shouldn't have any issues if it gets too hot or too cold of anything falling off. And just decide where you'd like to place them. Just kind of push them down onto the mesh and hold them for a minute until the hot glue sets. The hot glue will hold it in place until the Aleene's Tacky Glue fully sets up. And there you go, we are all done. I am really happy with how this turned out. I think our little red anchors were the perfect final embellishment for this wreath. To get started, you'll need an 8-inch wired wreath form that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. You're also going to need 3 rolls of deco mesh. This is some new deco mesh that I found at Dollar Tree, so I bought some to try. This is kind of like in a white or a light blue background, and it has the dark metallic blue stripes. Now if you can't find this at your Dollar Tree, you can always use a combination of either white, light blue, or dark blue. You can also use just 1 roll of each. Any color combination like that will work. We're going to be doing the poof method for the base. Now I'm going to be using the 3 rolls all at the same time, so I get 3 poofs each time I do a poof. So the first thing you want to do is take the ends of each of them and scrunch them together so that you can tie them together. Now when I work with more than one roll, I like to put one out on either side of my body, and when I'm working with 3, I usually leave one here on my desk. That way the rolls don't tangle with each other as you're working with them. Once you have all 3 ends scrunched in together, you want to take your pipe cleaner and secure it. Fold that mesh over, pull it nice and tight, and twist down. Now to start, we're going to attach it here at one of the crossbars. Go ahead and push your pipe cleaners around that crossbar, bring it to the back and give it a good twist. Then I take my ends, I push them also to the back, and I pull them back through those pipe cleaners. This just gives it that extra security. I don't want it to come undone because this is my start. Once you get it secured, you can go ahead and trim off some of the excess mesh. You don't want to cut it too short because you don't want it to pull back through. I have that nice and secure. Now you can either take your pipe cleaners and push them forward. Once you get your poofs all done, you will not be able to see them, or you can trim them shorter, whichever you prefer. And now you're going to need your ruler. So you want to grab all 3 of the rolls of deco mesh and you pull them out together. You want to start to measure where you attached it to your wreath, and you're going to measure to 8 inches and pinch. Then you attach a pipe cleaner. You want to pull that nice and snug and give it a good twist. And then you're going to attach that to the center bar and the bar on the outside. So just feed that onto either side. Pull to the back and give a good twist. Pull it together and push your ends forward. Push that over, grab again, pull out and measure to 8 inches. Pinch, add another pipe cleaner. Now you will put 6 to 7 poofs per section, and this small wreath has 3 sections. Okay, so I have my first section done, and I'm just going through now and opening up my poofs and fluffing it out. That just simply means to go in and to pull the deco mesh apart and open up each piece fully. Just taking this extra time to go through and separate and open up your poofs will make a really big difference in how your wreath looks. This way it's nice and full and thick. I have my base all done and poofed out. I think it looks really nice. Now I did the whole wreath just using those 3 rolls of deco mesh. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And this is what the back looks like. Now I did 7 poofs in the first section, 6 in the third section, and then 7 in the final section. So 2 have 7 and 1 has 6. You're also going to need one of these signs from Dollar Tree. I really like them, and I love that there are 3 on here because I'm just going to be using one, this one that says Salty Air. I really like the blue and the red that's on the sign. That will match really well with the ribbon that I've chosen. But you can use any of the 3 that you like. Now to prep your sign to go on your wreath, you're going to need 2 full-length pipe cleaners. We're going to go ahead and glue these onto the back, 1 on each end. Just lay out a good daub of hot glue there. And place the pipe cleaner in the middle. Like my new glue gun, my other one broke and my two backups didn't work. In fact, one exploded and gave me a nice burn. So I had to go out and get myself a new glue gun. Well, look at that pretty boy, it's even cordless. Okay, so you want to let that fully set up before we attach it to the wreath. I'm also going to be adding this really cute little sailboat. Now, I picked this up for $1.99 at the 99-cent store. So I'm going to be putting this on my wreath. Now, the Dollar Tree does have other options for you. They do sell these wood cutouts. You get 6, and it comes with the wheel. It comes with a little sailboat, and it also comes with an anchor. So you could use these, all of them or one of them, and paint them yourself. They have also just come out with these, which are really cute. This is another boat. You can take this apart and just use the front piece. These are little light up decor items for you to finish. So you can also take the front part off here, paint it, and use this. So you do have several options. Okay, so to attach this to the wreath, I'm going to use some floral wire as well as a chenille stem. I'm going to take out a piece about 12 inches of floral wire. I'm going to fold that in half and find the center. Now, I really like to use the silver floral wire because that pretty much disappears on anything light that you put it on. So I'm going to wrap it right around the top here and pull it to the back and give a twist. Make sure that's nice and snug. So this will allow you to attach the top part of your sailboat. So now you'll use the floral wires there. And then I'm going to glue a pipe cleaner down here on the back, on the base of the boat. Okay, so you want to let that fully set up before we attach it to the wreath. On the back here, I did go ahead and add half a pipe cleaner to make a little loop to hang my wreath. So that is the top of my wreath. So I'm going to place my sign, and I want to place it up on top here, kind of angled a little bit. And then I'm going to be placing my sailboat here. Now, to attach these, you just take your pipe cleaners or the floral wire and you feed it through the deco mesh and tie it on to the wreath frame in the back. And there you go. I have my sign on and my boat. I think it looks so cute. We're going to work on the bow now. I have these 2 ribbons that I'm going to use. I got both of them from Walmart and they were each $3.97. Neither one of them have any wired edge to them, so they're a very soft ribbon. I'm going to start with this one, and let's see, I believe this is 1.5 inches. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with my tail here. So I'm going to go with an 8-inch tail, pinch at 8 inches, and you want to put it between the 2 large dowel rods. Now this ribbon is the same on both sides, so I don't have to twist. And let's see, I'm only going to measure to about 4 inches and then come back through. Measure at 4 inches, come back through. So right now I have one loop on each side at 4 inches. And I'm going to do that one more time. Go ahead and measure out your tail at 8 inches and trim. Okay, so we have 2 loops on either side measured at 4 inches, and then we have 2 tails at 8 inches. Okay, now with this we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and measure out 8 inches for a tail. Pinch and slide through. Pull that down. Now because this only has a pattern on one side, once it comes through you're going to need to twist so that the knife side is facing down. Then we're going to measure at 3 inches and pull that back through. Once you get to the other side, twist so that the knife side is facing down. Measure at 3 inches. Come back through. Measure your tail and trim. You'll need a full length pipe cleaner. Grab right next to the center. Go ahead and lift that off. Keep it pinched. Take your pipe cleaner. You're going to want to wrap it around the center twice so that you can get it nice and tight. Pull it to the back. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. Pull nice and tight and give it a twist. This is what you're going to use to attach it to your wreath. Okay, so then just go ahead and pull your tails down. Then you want to open up the 2 loops in the back, and then you have the red loop in the middle. So your bow should look like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a ribbon right in the center here, and I want one of the anchors to be right in the middle. Cut that piece. And in the back you want to open up your pipe cleaners. I like that better. Very cute. So we're going to attach our bow now, and I want to put it kind of right in this area. And you do the same thing to attach. You just take those pipe cleaners, feed it through the mesh, and attach it directly to the frame in the back. And there you go. I got my bow on. I think it looks absolutely adorable. Now you can see why I chose this sign, because it has the same blues and reds that I have for my ribbon. Well, I think that came out absolutely adorable. Very simple, but so cute. To get started on today's project, you're going to need one of these lovely anchor wreath forms that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. This is in their Shore Living. It is just called a anchor metal wreath form. I was lucky enough to have a subscriber send me the wreath form. Thank you so much, Marianne. This video is for you. Along with the wreath form, you're also going to need a piece of either nautical fabric or whatever fabric that you want to wrap your form in. You can use a solid color or pattern one. I found this one at Dollar Tree and it is the perfect size. So you just want to make sure that the sheet of fabric you're using is large enough to completely cover your wreath form in one piece. Now I did go ahead and iron out my piece of fabric to get any wrinkles or creases out of it. Go ahead and turn it over. Make sure that the pattern is facing the direction that you want. We're going to place our form facing down so that we can work on the back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start just by tacking down this fabric a little bit in a few places. I want to make sure that as I work with it that I don't over pull and that I have enough fabric to complete it. Because sometimes when you wrap things, you don't tack them down, you end up pulling the fabric and then you don't have enough to cover it all. So just here at the tips, I'm putting a little drop of hot glue here on the back and then pulling that fabric up and just pulling it over that little dot of hot glue. So I have a dot of glue here at the bottom, one at the top, and one at either point. I'm going to do the same thing here on either side. So I have my fabric all tacked down all the way around. I'm happy with that. I'm going to start down here at my base. I'm going to take my scissors now and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut. I need to leave at least a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So I don't have any issues wrapping that around. So then I can just bring this up and wrap over. When you get to a point here where there's an angle, you want to take your scissors and cut into the angle. That will allow you to wrap that nicely this way and then bring this piece up over so you get a nice clean wrap. And just add a small amount of hot glue along the wire frame and wrap your fabric. So you can see how nice and clean that is. You just need to take your time and slowly work your way all the way around the frame and tack down your fabric. I have my base covered and I'm really happy with that. I really like that rope design on the fabric. I think it suits this project perfectly. Now here on the back you can see the work that I did on gluing everything down. Now the hardest part to wrap are these two corners and these two corners. What I had to do was cut at an angle to the corner and then hot glue. And right here you can see there's a little split there in the fabric. So I went over that with a little bit of the hot glue to make sure that that does not split. You can see it in the back, but you do not notice it in the front. Now because this doesn't look very pretty, I've decided I want to cover the back. So you just take your frame, you lay it over, I used white felt. So I laid a new frame over some white felt, laid it down, held it down, and then just went around the outside of the frame and traced it with a yellow Sharpie. That way the color wouldn't be too dark and it won't show through once I glue it down. Now I have used the Dollar Tree felt, and for this project it would work okay. It is very thin. This felt I've had in my stash for probably over 30 years. It is a crafter's felt and it's nice and thick. Turn my die over. And on this, the side that has the color on it that you traced, that's the side that goes down. You don't want to see any of that color. And then do your best to line up the felt on the back. And then you can just slowly work, start either at the top or the bottom, and slowly work at gluing on your backing. Just a small bead of glue around the edge and then lay down your felt. Ooh, I almost forgot to tell you, I did add this half a pipe cleaner here at the top. There is a little bar right there, a crossbar, and that's what I attached it to. Okay, you want to do that, of course, before you try to glue on your backing. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. Okay, so I got my backing on. Now, I kind of saw a little bit of the yellow that I used to trace out the felt on the backing. I didn't like that. I tried to trim it off, that didn't work, so I took a dark blue Sharpie and I just went around all of the edges. I wanted to hide any of the yellow that showed, plus I wanted it to, I don't know, stand out more. I like it with the darker edges. So I went all the way around. I made sure I hit right on the edge of the fabric, and I also covered any of the white felt that was in the background. So I just worked my way all the way around, and I really like that. I think it makes the shape stand out a little bit better and gives it a little bit of a cleaner look. I have a piece of the nautical rope that you can get from Dollar Tree. We're going to add some of this, and I'm going to cut a very small hole here so I can push the rope through, and then I'm going to hot glue that in. Just going to use my X-Acto knife. Just cut a small enough hole just to get the end in. And the end here has some tape on it. I'm going to remove that. That's to keep the rope together so it doesn't come apart on you. And I'm going to add just some hot glue there on the very end. And then I'm going to push that through the hole. And then run some hot glue all the way around the base. Okay, once the glue has set up, then you can go ahead and wrap your rope around your anchor. Now you can do this however many times you want, whatever looks right to you. And so just kind of play with it a little bit until you get it the way that you like. And then go ahead and tack down the other end on the back. I have my rope on, and I did go in the back and I did tack it down because I want to make sure that it doesn't move from where it is. Now you're also going to need one of these garden stake signs that you can get from Dollar Tree. Either one of these will do. I'm going to use this one today. They're easy to get off on the back. You just
lift these little prongs and then use a screwdriver, and this pops right off. That makes it easy for you to use these. And then what you want to do is find a place where you can tie on a piece of floral wire. So I did right here on the spoke. That's going to help me to attach it to my wreath here. And you just need to decide where you want to place it. I want to go right about there. Flip it over, and then I'm going to wrap those wires around to the back and then just tie them off. This way my sign is not going to fall off. If I decide to put this outside, or if it's in a bathroom where it gets really moist, I don't have to worry about that, because the floral wire will keep it on. Trim off any excess, and then take the ends because they're sharp and push them into the felt so that they're inside, so that they will not scratch your door. If you want, you can also put a little bit of hot glue right over that spot. I'm just going to put a little piece of cardboard over that so I can keep working and it won't glue to my table. Okay, so now it's on there. I want to adjust its placement just a little bit. Okay, so I like that. Now that I have its placement, I'm going to go in and tack it down with some hot glue, so that it will hold the placement that I want. Just wherever it touches, just hit it with a touch of hot glue. Like I said, it's not going to fall off. This is just to keep it in the position that you want it in. Doesn't that look adorable? I'm so pleased with it. We're going to work on our bow now. I like to use my easy bow maker. This helps me hold my ribbon. I have arthritis in my hands, and sometimes it's difficult for me to hold the ribbon, especially when I want to do a nice big bow. And I'm going to be using this ribbon. I picked this ribbon up from craftoutlet.com. I really do like all of the supplies that I've gotten from them. I've been very happy with. So this is what we're going to use today. This is 2.5 inches at 10 yards. Now, I don't want my tails to be too long. I'm only going to measure them at 6 inches. Then you want to pinch and place them between the two large dowel rods. And because this ribbon only has a pattern on one side, so it has a nice side and a not so nice side, I'm going to twist as I come through so that my nice side is facing down. Okay, with my tail, the nice side is facing up. But as I'm going to make my loops, the nice side needs to face down. And then with this bow, I'm going to measure my loops at 3 inches. Again, pinch, and as I come through, I'm going to twist. And I'm going to do 3 loops on each side at 3 inches. I have my 3 loops at 3 inches on either side. Now I'm going to do one more loop. This is going to be my center loop. And I'm only going to make that one about 2 inches. I just want a small little bump in the middle. So about 1.5 to 2 inches. And then when I come back to this side for my tail, I'm going to come through the large dowel rod and the small one. and then measure your tail at 6 inches. You're going to need a full-length pipe cleaner. I like to take mine and slide it in underneath and then lift up. Now when you lift up, you need to make sure that on that top piece you keep that little bit on this side so that your bow doesn't fall apart. That will hold your center little bump there. And don't worry, once you open up your bow, you will not be able to see it. So wrap your pipe cleaners around to the back, pull nice and tight, and give a twist. Okay. Pull your tails down. You have 3 loops on either side, so go ahead and separate those. A little loop there in the middle. So just go ahead and play with your bow and fluff it out until you get it the way that you like it. And then I'm just going to dovetail my ends. And that is what your bow should look like. I think that is just so cute, and I really love the anchor. Now once you get your pipe cleaners twisted down, you want to go ahead and trim those off. And just push it down so it's flat. And then I want to place my bow right here at the very top. I think that looks really cute. And I'm just going to hot glue it on. And there you go. I think that looks absolutely adorable. An 18-inch wreath form that you can get at the Dollar Tree. One of these discs that come from the Dollar Tree, it says Beach Breeze. I thought that was very pretty. This fits perfectly in the center of an 18-inch wreath. I have a package of rope. This is 50 feet by 3/8 of an inch. I picked this up from Lowe's. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is take 4 pipe cleaners and go ahead and fold them in half. And then you're going to want to attach it at the crossbar. The bar in the middle but closest to the center. Just drop it on either side, pull down and twist. You're going to want to do this 4 times. This is what you're going to use to attach the sign after we've put the rope on. Okay, next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and grab a chunk of your rope, and you're going to want to pull out enough that you're able to work with it, because we're going to be weaving it in and out. So I just glued the end
onto the rope itself and letting that dry. And then you just basically weave in and out. Take your end. This is coming over, so we're going to come up, down, under, back around, and then up again. Okay? So you want to pull through one line before you move on. Together. Grab your end. It came over, so you go under, over, under, and over. And you just keep going back and forth, and you fill in the wreath all the way around. You want to make sure that you leave these guys out so that you can attach our sign. Okay, so I have all of my rope on there. Now this rope I got from Lowe's. It is called sisal rope, and it's 3/8 of an inch by 50 feet. And I took more than one whole roll, so it took about 60 to 70 feet of the rope. And I do not recommend using this rope. It was very difficult to work with. It's very stiff. And I just hot glued the ends wherever I ended and started a new piece. And I left out these so that we can attach our sign, which I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I went ahead and removed the twine that was up here. Okay, so I'm going to take one of the pipe cleaners and just feed it through the hole where I took the piece of twine out to hang it. And I'm just going to twist that one on. I just want to make sure I get my positioning correct. Okay, so I have all the pipe cleaners glued down. I cut off any excess that was sticking out and then put a little more hot glue over the ends so it's nice and secure. It still gives me a little bit of movement to adjust the sign a little bit if I need to. I went through all of my shells and I pulled out several different kinds in different sizes and shades. This is just from several different bags that I've picked up over time. Most of these did come from the Dollar Tree. I have a couple sand dollars that I picked up from the beach myself. So I'm going to use these to decorate. So basically you just want to take each kind, and I like to start with my larger shells and just kind of go through and place them throughout so that you get a kind of an even distribution of each of the types of shells, and just play with it. Have a good mixture of colors and sizes. So basically go through, lay out what you like, and then just go ahead and start gluing them down. And there you go, we're all done. Let me know in the comments below which wreath was your favorite. I had so much fun with my coastal, nautical, and beach theme wreaths. I hope you did. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please give me a big thumbs up and show some love in the comments. This really does help support my channel. If you're looking for more summer inspiration, you're going to want to check out my top 10 summer wreaths. Thanks so much for stopping by. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.